Welcome to Channel. Donald Trump's trade war with Canada has just spectacularly backfired, and it's opening the door to $1 billion opportunity for Canadian telecom giant BCE. What Trump saw as economic pressure has instead become the spark behind one of Canada's most ambitious tech transformations. While Trump's tariffs were meant to force Canada into submission, they've instead created a $1.5 billion AI gold rush north of the border. BCE, the parent company of Bell Canada, has just unveiled a bold plan to turn Trump's aggression into Canada's greatest AI victory yet. The irony couldn't be sharper. Trump's America First policies, designed to weaken Canadian industry, are now fueling the largest AI infrastructure boom in Canadian history. During their recent Investor Day, BCE announced that they're targeting $1.5 billion in AI-driven revenue by 2028, more than double their current AI business. This isn't just a hopeful corporate forecast. It's Canada playing chess while Trump plays checkers. To see how this happened, we have to rewind to Trump's first presidency. In 2018, his administration passed the Cloud Act, a law giving U.S. authorities the power to force American tech giants like Amazon and Microsoft to hand over data, no matter where in the world it was stored. For Canada's governments, banks, hospitals, and critical infrastructure, that was a wake-up call. Depending on U.S.-based cloud services suddenly meant their most sensitive data could be seized by Washington at any time. But it was Trump's return to power in 2025 and his new wave of tariffs, including a 25% tax on Canadian goods, that transformed those concerns into action. Ottawa no longer sees data sovereignty as a policy debate. It's now a national security mission, and BC is leading the charge. Would you like me to continue this into a full YouTube script, article, or news narration version with voiceover tone? A handful of senators may still support Trump's trade crusade, but across Canada, a new question is echoing through every boardroom and institution: how we defend ourselves against American digital colonialism. What makes Trump's latest tariffs so damaging isn't just their intensity, it's their sheer breadth. He isn't targeting a single industry. He's coming after everything: steel, automobiles, aluminum, lumber, copper, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, and even critical minerals. As Ontario Premier Doug Ford bluntly put it, a tariff on Canada is an attack on America itself. And he's not exaggerating. These aren't theoretical economic moves made on paper. They're real-world strikes that affect real workers, families, and industries on both sides of the border. The truth is, the Canadian and American economies are deeply intertwined, far more than most people realize. In fact, the amount of Canadian content in U.S. vehicles is often higher than the American content in some of their own cars. That's how integrated the two nations have become. Would you like me to keep rewriting the next paragraph in the same sharp journalistic tone? Or do you want to make the full piece flow as one continuous article ready for YouTube narration or publication? In reality, every finished car rolling off an American assembly line already carries a piece of Canada with it. When Trump slaps tariffs on Canadian goods, he's not just punishing Ottawa. He's taxing American manufacturers who rely on those cross-border supply chains to keep their factories running. This simple economic truth exposes the fatal flaw in Trump's protectionist playbook. His tariffs don't strengthen U.S. industry. They undermine it from within. And it's not just autos feeling the pain. The lumber sector, a cornerstone of Canada's resource economy, is now staring down an existential crisis. Canadian softwood lumber faces a crippling 45% tariff, while furniture and cabinetry products like kitchen cabinets are hit with a 25% levy, set to double after January 1st. The absurdity doesn't end there. Canadian would now face higher tariffs than Russian imports entering the United States. Trump's so-called America First strategy has turned into a lose-lose scenario, hurting both nations while opening the door for America's rivals to gain ground. Would you like me to merge all rewritten sections so far into one polished article or YouTube narration script with headline and description? The Canadian Kitchen Cabinet Association, which represents more than 3,700 companies, has sounded the alarm. Most of its members export up to 80% of their products to the U.S., meaning they can't just shift to new markets overnight. The numbers paint a stark and sobering picture. These tariffs aren't just squeezing profit margins. They're threatening the survival of thousands of small and mid-sized manufacturers that form the backbone of Canada's export economy. Would you like me to continue rewriting the next section or compile everything so far into one smooth, professional article ready for posting or narration? Just a year ago, the economic fallout from Trump's terror crusade was still a prediction. Now it's measurable and devastating. A Yale University study estimates that Trump's tariffs are costing every American household roughly $2,400 a year. And by the end of 2025, the U.S. economy is expected to lose nearly 500,000 jobs. The warning signs are already flashing red. American manufacturing employment has fallen for 5 consecutive months, with 78,000 fewer factory jobs today than a year ago. Instead of bringing jobs back home, Trump's policies are destroying the very industries he promised to protect. And the damage doesn't stop at Canada's border. Washington's economic isolationism is undermining its own global alliances. By slapping tariffs on traditional partners, the U.S. has made it nearly impossible to build a united front against China. American officials are now learning a painful diplomatic truth. You can't ask countries to join your coalition right after you hit them with protectionist punishment. Would you like me to include this in a full combined rewrite of the entire piece so far, ready for video or article format? Donald Trump's trade war with Canada has just backfired spectacularly. And in doing so, he's handed Canadian telecom giant BCE a once-in-a-generation opportunity. What Trump believed would pressure Canada into economic submission has instead triggered the birth of a $1.5 billion AI gold rush. BCE, the parent company of Bell Canada, has just unveiled a master plan that could transform Trump's aggression into Canada's greatest technological victory yet. The irony couldn't be greater. Trump's America First policies, designed to weaken Canadian businesses, are now fueling the largest AI infrastructure boom in Canadian history.